there's a question about the soul.
Is there soul now?
The soul means that which can experience chitta.
When there is the understanding of citta, the reality which experiences the object, no matter what word we use, but it has to be right understanding of the reality of that which is what we are talking about. So no matter what idea about soul as before, the truth is that soul, as we use the word, means that reality like that experience the object. And in Pali term, the word of the Buddha, that word is citta. Otherwise, the word of the Buddha about citta can be mixed with the idea of soul as before. That's why we have to have the clear understanding of the reality which we are talking about. Is citta soul?
Dazhuang somehow said that karma is the intention, the cetana.
But we talk about just one word at a time, which represents only one reality at a time, in order to have clear understanding of that reality, in order to understand clearly any reality later, one by one. We are talking about the truth of each reality. What is karma? Is karma citta or is karma a soul? Is karma soul?
Not sure, not clear if karma is soul or not.
That's why we have to understand reality. Each one has its own characteristic. It cannot be the other at all. Each has its own characteristic to be different from the others, because whatever is real is Dhamma. Each one which is real is a Dhamma.
Dazhuang cannot figure out how come the karma is here now and then suddenly there.
No, there is no understanding of karma. Otherwise, there's the idea as karma here and karma there, and so on. But what is it? Is there karma right now?
It's not clear about what is cetana.
Okay, shall we begin of whether Cetana is Dhamma or not?
Not quite sure.
That's why we have to have clear understanding of reality in order to understand the truth that they are realities. They have their own characteristic. Each one is different.
The characteristic of cetana is intention.
Is it a Dhamma?
Yes, we call that Dhamma.
We call that, or it has its characteristic to be a reality.
Yes, it has the unchanging characteristic.
Okay. Can it experience an object?
Yes.
Is that Cetana at moment of seeing?
He's not sure if they experience different objects.
That's why we cannot talk about Cetana further if there's not clear understanding of what Cetana really is. Dhamma is so very subtle. It's so deep that there has to be very careful considering about a reality at a time to have more understanding of no one there at all. Each is different Dhamma. So does Cetana also experience the object, but not as the chief, because it is not the reality which experiences the object clearly. And this is the difference between the citta and the reality which arises with it, share the same object, but has different characteristics and different function. But they also experience the object, but not as the chief. That's why there are two kinds of the realities which experience the object. Only one can be that which experiences the object clearly is conditioned to arise to see clearly the object which is seen. But the other realities which also experience the same object arising together, but each one cannot perform the function of that which experiences the object clearly. So they are cetasikas, not citta. So does Cetana also experience the object? What object?
Now Dazhong has the idea of Cetana does not experience the object.
Some moment when anger is there, does it experience the object? Now we talk about another reality, not Cetana. Is anger, irritation, a reality?
Yes.
At moment of getting angry, does anger also experience any object?
Maybe.
Not maybe. At all. It has to be precise about each reality, otherwise they're all mixed.
Dazhong agreed, but he's not quite sure about what does Cetana exactly do.
So each reality is so very subtle. When it's so slight, very weak, it cannot appear to be known to the very little understanding. That's why we learn to understand each reality, to understand it, no matter it arises this moment or other moment. So does Cetana arise with each citta, each moment now?
Yes, but still Dazhong want to know what's the function of Cetana.
Right, but we have to go on little by little to understand a little more about not only intention of Cetana. Is there memory now? Remembering?
Yes, there is.
Okay, what is the function of memory?
To mark, to memorize.
Okay, and what about the feeling now? Is it there too?
Yeah.
So we begin to understand little by little. Cetana is the will or willing to coordinate the other cetasika to perform the function. Intention to coordinate. So it appears as the will or intention to do something when it's there, clearer. Just like, what are you going to do today? See, that is intention or cetana. So when it arises with each citta, it coordinates like it will to do or intend to do. The eyes are closed and then the eyes opened. What is there to open the eye? Is there any will? Is there related which will by coordinating the other cetasikas to perform their functions?
Yes, there is.
That's why it's there unknown, because only one reality can be known at a time. Even there is cetana now, sanya now, feeling now, other cetasiks now. What can be known is only when it is the object of citta. That's why there are so many different realities. Those which experience the object are quite different by its characteristic and its level that it performs. The intention to kill, the intention to help, that is cetana. So cetana arises with each citta performing its function at different moment. So is there cetana at moment of speaking, walking, doing, sitting? And furthermore, can cetana be the path leading to understanding the truth of what is there right now as it is?
Cannot.
Okay. Is he sure now that Cetana arises with each citta